So we have Michael Schindler with us today, and we would like to ask some cybersecurity questions. Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Right, Michael, please tell us about yourself. What do you do?
Well, I actually just started a new position. I am a sales engineer with ENSILO, which is an endpoint security solution here in the U.S. And I'm in the Dallas area, so I actually am responsible for the Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana area, along with my sales team. And I come from a CISO position, actually, so it's a little bit backwards. Most people tend to go there last, but as much as I enjoyed it, I prefer the people aspect to the security aspect. So back in sales, I am. I've been doing this about 25 years, and I have about 74 technical certifications, so I've been doing a little bit of it.
Nice. So why do you think people choose to go into cybersecurity and just cyber in general? Why is it so special?
Because IT is terrible. No, actually, a lot of us started in IT, and most of IT is about availability. You come to find that it's a binary workplace. That is, it works or it doesn't, and people only know you when it doesn't. It's also usually not terribly interesting. It's mathematic, it's algorithmic, it's pattern-based, but there's very little art to IT or networking. And when you get into cyber, this great community exists. It's very interesting, the things that people are doing, the bad guys, the threat actors. It's very interesting. They're changing constantly. So there's an art to beating them. And it's pretty enjoyable to share the stories and the efforts with this community.
Where do you think cybersecurity is going in the next year or so 2019 and 20?
Well, there are quite a few answers to that, but automation and orchestration is a big aspect of it. We have an average dwell time of threats on a network higher than 150 days. Okay. We have to move that to less than 6 seconds. So the idea is we have to put automation and orchestration in place that is going to be effective and efficient against the type of cyber threats that are occurring, and we have to rapidly attain that level of cyber response, or we're going to constantly be overwhelmed by the enemy.
Yeah, that's understandable. What is the difference between the B2B and B2C sector in cybersecurity, and between the tools they're offering out there?
Well, I don't know that there's necessarily a difference in the tools, though. There's definitely more enterprise mature capability at the corporate level because there's money to spend there. However, I think the big difference is, from a B2C perspective, I find that the Bs treat the Cs like idiots. Okay. We just assume that they don't know anything and they need to be protected. They need to be babysat. Instead of educating them or bringing them into, or giving them the benefit of the doubt that they're able to come and understand the threat that's in front of them, we just provide the tools. And in many cases, of course, they don't have capabilities, but there's definitely a predisposition to treat them like the guys that don't know anything and we need to take care of. And I apologize if that's a negative aspect of it. There's always some positive aspects, but I see that negative aspect a lot. And I also see a negative aspect in the B2B space where we don't trust each other. We have a lot of vendors in every space, and you get fatigue from hearing from the same guys selling the same solutions over and over and over again. We have the best, we have the cheapest, we have the best support, we have the best management, ease of management, over and over again. And we just don't have the time to POC, to do a proof of concept and everybody's solutions anymore. We start leaning on the Gartners of the world, and then we start questioning the Gartners for their actual purpose of delivering information, if it's just capitalistic or if they meant to provide value. And then we go down to the NSS labs and we go down to the technical aspects and start to value them. But in general, we just don't trust each other in the B2B space.
Why do you think there is no time to perform the POCs or anything? Is it because of money-wise, or why?
Yeah, it's a great question. The answer is one that's been known for a long time. The threat is faster than the response across the board, whether that's price, capability, resources, etc. I can go make $400,000 as a Russian hacker, or I can come here and make $100,000, $200,000 trying to defend against them. Well, there's obviously some other choices to make, other considerations with those choices, but these days, as much as we hear that there aren't enough resources that have the capability to defend against the threats that exist, the reality is corporations really haven't chosen, outside of the enterprise corporations, to actually pay the necessary resources pay for the necessary tools to defend against the threats that exist. And I explain it typically this way. In IT, when you want to buy a number of servers, when you want to buy a number of desktops, when you want to buy a number of anything, you scale to the number of employees. In cyber, you cannot do that. All threats exist at all times. So if you have 5 employees or if you have 1,000, all of the threats exist for the 5 employees. You have to make a determination on all of the possible controls in the security space, even if you're only 5 people. Can you do that with 5 people? No. I'm a security expert. I own a nonprofit. I have hundreds of people that work for me. It doesn't matter. I don't have time to go do it, and I'm a security expert. I have to have somebody do it.
That's true. And some of our clients are small and medium businesses, and I would like to ask you maybe some tips and tricks on how to protect these small and medium businesses.
Oh, I love that question, and it's a question I really want to answer for people. And I typically answer it like this. There are 4 typical controls, 3 mandatory and a 4th that's getting to be, that's optional, but it's getting to be mandatory. The first one that everybody thinks of in an enterprise environment is a firewall. So if you're a small or medium business, you need a firewall. You need perimeter security. Your second one has always been endpoint security. You need to protect against malware. The new one that we're all aware of is phishing attacks, any type of email attacks, and throwing in with that some type of security awareness program has to be top of mind always. 4th is your web protection, so your web filtering. If your people are surfing, you've got to make sure they're not downloading malicious data, they're not exfiltrating data, etc. After that, there are about 50 other potential security controls. Find a partner to work with to help you prioritize and purchase the right solutions for you. That's how you work as a small, medium business. Get your 4. I recommend getting with somebody ahead of time and helping you determine those 4, but you definitely need at least 3 of those. The 4th one is a high recommendation. After that, don't move. Don't just go react to your environment. Don't find a problem and solve it, because you're not reacting to the risk of your environment. Do a risk analysis with professionals, hire professionals to come in and help you choose, prioritize the next controls, purchase what's right for you.
Thank you. So you advise our small and medium businesses to think proactively about security, not reactively, right?
You're in the business to make money. You're in the business of what you do. You're not cyber experts. You're not IT experts for the main part. I can't advise you to go do what's not your strength. I advise you to partner with someone to give you good advice. Just make sure you reach out to somebody that you're listening, that you're asking questions, that they're asking questions on your behalf. Don't do this alone. You're not in this alone. You don't have to have the answers, but you have to find somebody that does.